All right, let's get right into it. We are about to break down one of the sneakiest, most expensive performance problems you'll find in the wild. It's time to finally master the N+1 query problem. So picture this. Your app is flying during development. Your tests are all green, the demos look fantastic. Then you deploy to production. The data starts pouring in, and suddenly, everything just grinds to a halt. So what happened? Well, there's a silent killer lurking in your code, and today we're going to drag it into the light. And this chart right here, this is the classic symptom. With just a handful of records, your response time is basically nothing. But as that data grows, the performance doesn't just get a bit worse, it completely falls off a cliff. This isn't a straight line, folks. This is an exponential disaster waiting to happen. It's the calling card of a very specific, very nasty database bottleneck. And that bottleneck has a name, the N+1 query problem. We call it a silent killer for a good reason. Each individual query it fires off is usually way too fast to show up in your slow query logs. But add them all together, and they will absolutely bring your system to its knees. So at its core, the N+1 problem is a really simple but deadly pattern. You make one query to get a list of things. Then, for each of the N things you got back, you fire off another separate query to get some related detail. 1 plus N. It's that simple and, yep, that destructive. Let's make it real with a blog example. Step 1, the O. Your app asks the database, hey, give me all the blog posts. Easy enough. But then comes step 2, the N. Your code starts looping through every single post and asking, one by one, okay, who's the author for this one? And this one? And what about this one? Over and over and over again. And here's where the math just gets brutal. To get 100 posts and their authors, you're not making one, maybe two smart queries. No, you are making 101 separate round trips to your database. This is where performance goes to die. And the fallout from this is just terrible. Every single one of those 101 queries adds network latency. Your database CPU is just churning, trying to handle thousands of these tiny little requests. You can literally exhaust your database's connection pool, which can cause your entire application to just time out. And the end result for your user? They're just staring at a loading spinner, getting frustrated. Maybe the best way to think about this is as a death by 1,000 fast queries. Each individual cut, each tiny query is super fast, maybe a few milliseconds. It never, ever shows up on a slow query report. But you put 1,000 of those cuts together, that is what kills your app's performance. Okay, so let's investigate the crime scene. And you might be shocked to find out that the culprit here is often code that looks totally clean, really simple, and completely innocent. I mean, just look at this. On the left, that code is beautiful, right? It's exactly how your ORM, your object relational mapper, is supposed to work. But that elegant code is a leaky abstraction. It completely hides the absolute chaos that's happening on the right, a massive storm of individual SQL queries just hammering your database. And the feature that makes this all possible is called lazy loading. It's the default in most ORMs, and it's designed to be efficient by not loading data until you actually ask for it. It's a fantastic idea when you're just looking up one thing, but it turns into an absolute performance nightmare the second you put it inside a loop. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's talk about the solutions. The good news is, every major framework has some really powerful built-in tools to help us fight back against this N+1 monster. You just have to know they exist and how to use them. In the Django world, you've got two main weapons. For a simple one-to-one or foreign key relationship, like a post having one author, you use select related. This tells Django, hey, use a SQL join and get me the posts and authors all at once. But for many-to-many relationships, like a post having multiple tags, you use prefetch related. This one's a bit different. It gets all the posts in one query, then it grabs all their IDs and fetches all the related tags in a single second query using a wherein clause. Either way, you're going from N+1 queries down to just one or two. For all you .NET folks using Entity Framework, your go-to is .include. This is called eager loading. It basically tells the database to join the related data right away. Now, a quick heads up. If you include too many related lists, you can get something called a Cartesian explosion, which is just a fancy way of saying the database sends back way too much duplicated data. To fix that, you can use as split query. But for the absolute best performance, use .select to project your results into a lean data transfer object, or DTO. That just means you're only asking for the exact fields you need. Nothing more, nothing less. The Java ecosystem has some powerful options too. You can get really explicit with a join fetch clause right in your query to force that eager load. Or you can take a more declarative approach with @EntityGraph to define which relationships you want to grab. But what if you still want lazy loading? Just better. Well, the @batchSize annotation is a fantastic compromise. It basically tells Hibernate, instead of fetching related items one by one, go get them in efficient batches of, say, 20. It massively cuts down on the number of round trips. And don't think GraphQL gets a free pass here. In fact, because of its nested nature, N+1 problems can be incredibly common. The standard solution is a brilliant pattern called DataLoader. It's a clever little utility that collects all the individual requests for data made in a single pass, batching them together into one efficient query, and then distributes the results back where they need to go. It's basically batching and caching all rolled into one. So we know how to fix it. But what's the actual measurable impact of making these changes? And more importantly, how do we build a defensive strategy so these things never even make it to production in the first place? The payoff here is just staggering. I mean, look at these numbers. We're not talking about a 10 or 20% improvement. We are talking about going from over a full second of execution time down to 20 milliseconds. That's a 50x speed up. Your database round trips plummet from over 100 to just 1 or 2. This isn't a micro-optimization. This is a critical make-or-break architectural fix. So why does this keep slipping past us? Well, first, your local dev database with just 10 records is way too fast to show the problem. It's completely invisible. Second, like we said, each query is lightning fast, so it's not going to trigger any slow query alarms. And third, the whole point of an ORM is to hide the raw SQL from you, which means the problem is invisible unless you're actively looking for it. So here's your playbook for defense. Rule number 1, never ever put a database query inside a loop, full stop. 2, always measure the number of queries you're generating, not just the total time. 3, for read-only data, use those projections or DTOs. 4, and this is crucial, add assertions to your integration test that will fail the build if an endpoint suddenly starts generating more than, say, 5 queries. And finally, in production, you have to use application performance monitoring, or APM tools. They will show you exactly where these hidden query loops are happening in the wild. So I want you to remember this. It is so easy to blame the database, to just say, SQL is slow, but that is almost never the real story. Modern databases are incredibly fast, engineering marvels. The bottleneck is almost always the way our applications are talking to them. Which leaves us with one last really important question. You've seen the pattern, you've seen the damage it causes, and now you know how to fix it. So, take a hard look at your own projects. Is this silent killer lurking in your codebase?